Hello and welcome to this brief video update from me, Chris, one of the directors here at Tanfield Railway. The idea of this video is to bring you up to speed with what's happening around the site and also what our plans are for 2023. We've just about finished tidying up after an incredibly successful North Pole Express season. Santa and his elves welcomed around 12,000 visitors in November and December, and the North Pole Express is a key part of the Tanfield Railway operation. When I say key, I mean that for two reasons. Firstly, it normally represents about a third of our visitor numbers for a year, so it's vital for our income. But secondly, it's also a fantastic way to engage young people with steam railways. We have volunteer locomotive drivers in their 20s now who first visited as toddlers to see Santa on our North Pole Express. So the North Pole Express is an essential part of the Tanfield Railway, and we're already working on ways on how to improve the visitor experience for 2023. Although it's probably a little too early to go into the detail just yet. Staying on the subject of events, we're conscious that we haven't gotten back to the number or scale of the events we operated before COVID changed everything so much. It's our intention to move back to holding more and bigger events, but we need to do that in a way that reflects the capacity we have, knowing that a lot of the momentum was lost during the pandemic. The big news is that galas are back for 2023. There are likely to be some subtle changes here and there, but you can expect lots of trains, lots of action, and visiting locomotives again. The first gala of the year will be our Legends of Industry event, running to its traditional Father's Day weekend slot in June. We've already got the star locomotive lined up, but we'll keep you guessing for a little bit. We've decided that our Run It event in October is now going to become a full-blown gala too. And we're also looking at whether we can feature a visiting locomotive at this event as well as our Legends of Industry. Run It is also likely to see more action from our resident diesel fleet, hopefully including the Fowler, or Ribbleside Cement number 6 to give it its proper name. The Fowler is very close to completion now, so we've got everything crossed. Seeing the back of the big work on Marley Hill engine shed will also mean that we can start the next part of the process, encouraging more of our visitors to experience the engine shed and see more of our collection. We're working on plans for some subtle interpretation space inside the side rooms of Marley Hill engine shed, but we're also looking at making better use of other buildings at Marley Hill. Fundamentally, we want all our visitors to see a good chunk of our huge collection of locomotives and rolling stock. The first step to that will be improving the interpretation in the carriage shed at Marley Hill, and we're aiming to get that completed in the first half of this year. Staying at Marley Hill, our new welcome building will be in regular use this year, and we're aiming to enhance the displays inside in the near future too. But the really big news is that we've started to plan how we can reintroduce passenger trains to Marley Hill station. Those of you who've known the Tanfield Railway for a long time will remember when trains used to start from Marley Hill. Well, we want more people to visit Marley Hill, so we decided the best way to get them there was by train. We still use the track to Marley Hill station every day for empty stock wagons, so much of the infrastructure needed is intact. There's still a lot of work to do to bring the platform back into use and make it safe for access again, but we hope it won't take too long. We'll be working to refresh some of the visitor facilities in Marley Hill in time for that too. Out on the track at the moment, our permanent way team are busy completing the relaying of the run-round loop at Sunnyside, replacing sleepers that were at the end of their life. Going back a couple hundred years, we're also going to make progress on the recreated wagonway section at Causey. We're currently sat with a nice long list of timber for cutting when the weather is right later in the year. I haven't mentioned Andrews House Station yet. We've been piloting a few different food offerings at Andrews House during 2022, and for 2023 we're planning a firm menu so that our visitors will know they can get food and refreshments at the station during their stay. We're planning further videos on much of the rolling stock work underway at the moment, but just to quickly update you all, here's a brief rundown. Keighley Corporation Gasworks number 2 is in the final stages of its 10-year overhaul. The tank and carb are due to go back on imminently, and then it should be quickly back into traffic for 2023. Sir Cecil of Cochrane had a small problem with a hot connecting rod bearing during the North Pole Express season, which is currently being dealt with. Horden failed just before Christmas after a problem with its boiler tubes. The tubes have lasted a much shorter time than expected, and we know other railways throughout the country have been having similar problems recently. we're working with friends from other railways and organisations to try and find the cause, but in the meantime it means Hordern needs a new set of tubes at a cost of several £1,000s too. The tubes have been ordered and we're hoping to have Hordern back in traffic at some point during the spring. Ribblesdale Cement number 6, our Fowler diesel hydraulic, is undergoing some final snagging work before it'll be ready for regular use. Tyne Improvement Commission number 35, the Ruston, is also being worked on to get them back into traffic and available for use when required. Although we don't plan to reduce the use of steam locomotives on our passenger trains, we know there are times when a diesel is handy. Obviously, our diesel locomotives play a massive behind-the-scenes role on engineering duties and shunting, but they could occasionally be seen out on a running day too, alongside our steam locomotives. The North East was a pioneer for diesel and electric traction, just as it was for steam, so it's entirely appropriate to mark that. In the woodworking shed, number 456 is still making steady progress and attention is now focused on doors. Elsewhere in the carriage and wagon department, work is also underway to prepare the recently arrived Lomac for traffic, primarily to help in permanent way and similar work. So that's roughly where we are at the start of 2023. None of what we've achieved in 2022 would have been possible without the hard work and dedication of our volunteers. And the same is true for 2023. Without our volunteers, we simply wouldn't exist. I'd like to finish with a thank you to all our friends, visitors, volunteers and supporters. We can only continue to make the Tanfield Railway better with your help. We really do appreciate your support. I know lots of you will have seen other railways talking about just how challenging the economic picture is for heritage railways right now. We've seen our costs go up massively at the same time as many of our visitors and supporters have less money in their pockets. We've always been a very prudent railway and that pays dividends at times like this. But right now, your support really does matter. If you can find the time and money to support us with a visit, it really does make a difference. If you can give us a few hours to volunteer every week in whatever shape or form, that too makes a difference. So please come and see us in 2023, maybe even lend a hand. If you haven't been for a while, maybe since pre-pandemic, you'll be made more than welcome. And we'll carry on doing everything we can to protect and restore the North East's industrial steam railway heritage for you to enjoy. Thank you.